everybody. Good morning and welcome. It's great to see you here this morning. Here we are at the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose. So let's start our celebration service by standing up together and singing. So I wanted to let you know, welcome everybody. We're all being seated. We are having a baby palooza today. This is Heather and her family, and what's your name? Chris. Heather and Chris and their family. Yes, and they've been attending here for a while, and Jason and Heather used to attend here, but you moved away, didn't you? Yeah, you moved away, but you came back with a little something extra, so it's good. So we're going to do a baby blessing ritual in lieu of our children's message, and at the end of it, I'm going to invite all of you guys to come up on the stage, okay? But not quite yet. All right. So first of all, let me welcome you and tell you that this is a very, very sacred day, a very special day for all of you, and I love all of you so much. So I'm just going to cry through the whole thing. Let's just face it. The reason it's so special to me is that it's an acknowledgement. It's an acknowledgement that our children, they really don't need me to bless them. They are already blessed, just as we are already blessed. Just blessed when we came in and blessed when we go out. We're just God's blessing showing up here in form. And the purpose of this ritual is to acknowledge that, but it's also to welcome you to the community of the hearts of the congregation and to my heart as well. That even if you're far away, and even if you're at home, and even if whatever, you are always going to be held in the heart of this congregation, and we will pray for you and we will support you as you go on this rigorous journey of parenting. We will also acknowledge that we support the blessedness in all of you. Oh, yay! The baptism is starting early. All righty. All right, so we've got parents and godparents up here, and I'm going to go ahead and just do some vows with you, okay? So will you teach these children that they are unique and wonderful beings of God? If so, please say, I do. I do. All of you, yes, everyone, everyone. I do, yes. You mean you don't? No, okay. All right, and this is for everybody too, for parents and godparents. Will you teach them that their life is one with all life? I will. Okay. Okay. Will you teach them to be kind, respectful, loving, and joyful? If so, please say, I will. I will. And will you love them completely and unconditionally? If so, please say, I will. I will. Thank you. And now, vows for the congregation. Will you acknowledge that these children are wonderful beings of love? If so, please say, we will. We will. Will you acknowledge and always strive to be kind and supportive to them? If so, please say, we will. Will you always see the best in them and encourage them to honor the best in themselves? If so, please say, we will. We will. Thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to do the blessing, and I'm going to trade places with you guys. In fact, let me come in the middle here. All right. And I'm going to make sure that I get everybody's names right, so I'm going to have the parents tell me the names first, okay? So let's start with the little one. This is Ivy, and your last name is Canopa. Ivy Canopa, I bless you in the name of everything that is holy. And so it is. Okay. And this is Eli, right? Eli, I'm going to put a little water on your head. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Eli Canopa, I bless you in the name of all that is holy. And so it is. Thank you. And this is Lily, right? Hi, Lily. I'm going to put a little water on your head. I'm going to touch your flower with my flower. Here we go. And Lily Canopa, I bless you in the name of all that is holy. And so it is. So it is. And then this is Ava. Okay. Ava Russo. Yes. Ava Grace Russo. Okay. Ava Grace Russo, I bless you in the name of all that is holy. And so it is. And this is Asher Michael. Okay. Asher Michael Russo, I bless you in the name of all that is holy. And so it is. Yay! Everybody did Very well, I have to say. I have to say. So your children, as always, they've always been blessed, and they are extra specially blessed right now. This water is holy water. Some of it is from the St. Francis Chapel, and some of it is from a Hindu saint. It has all kinds of rocks and sea glass and all kinds of beautiful things that the congregation have given me. There's even a goat in here for Christmas Eve, right? Right. So I just want to acknowledge once again that we are all made holy through our intention of love and support that we have for these children. We have certificates for all of you in the office. Did you want a blessing too? I thought you said you didn't want one. You want me to bless you too, Aiden? Okay, you'll pass. Okay, I bless you. We give you a stealth blessing. Okay. Okay. You sure? You want one? Okay, you're good. Okay. All right. And so there's certificates in the office for all of you, and then we have a gift for each family. This is a sweet story that you're going to love. I quote it a lot in church. You're going to enjoy that. And let me just say one quick word of prayer, and then we'll oh, my pleasure. Thank you. In fact, let's bring all the kids on stage, and then I'll say a quick word of prayer. So would all the children come forward? Yeah, just come on up on the stage. We're just going to show the world how beautiful you are. All right. And so in benediction, we'll have the congregation. Please repeat after me, knowing that these children are blessed and beautiful, and that we are blessed to know them. Please repeat after me. We love you.
We love you.
We bless you.
We bless you.
We believe in you.
We believe in you.
You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
And so it is. Thank you. And so it is, and so we let it be. We allow ourselves to be still and know, to know the voice, the sound of spirit, to know the sensation of spirit, to allow ourselves to settle and go deeper as we listen to the words of our sacred reading.
The Imaginal Cell Story from the book Butterfly by Nori Huddle. The caterpillar's new cells are called imaginal cells. They are so totally different from the caterpillar's cells that his immune system thinks they are enemies and gobbles them up. But these new imaginal cells continue to appear, more and more of them. Pretty soon, the caterpillar's immune system cannot destroy them fast enough. More and more of the imaginal cells survive. And then, an amazing thing happens. The little tiny lonely imaginal cells start to clump together into friendly little groups. They all resonate together at the same frequency, passing information from one to another. Then after a while, another amazing thing happens. The clumps of imaginal cells start to cluster together. The long string of clumping and clustering imaginal cells, all resonating at the same frequency, all passing information from one to another there inside the chrysalis. Then, at some point, the entire long string of imaginal cells suddenly realizes altogether that it is something different from the caterpillar, something new, something wonderful. And in that realization is the shout of the birth of the butterfly. Since the butterfly now knows that it is a butterfly, the tiny little imaginal cells no longer have to do all those things that individual cells must do. Now they are part of a multi-celled organism, a family who can share the work. Each new butterfly cell takes on a different job. There is something for everyone to do, and everyone is important. And each cell begins to do just that very thing it is drawn most to do. And every other cell encourages it to do just that. A great way to organize a butterfly.
And so it is. And could it be that the metaphor is that we are that clump of imaginal cells, all supporting each other and encouraging each other, that we are forming something magnificent here today together in this center, brought here by divine appointment. We lend our hearts, our minds, and our voices to the reawakening of our spiritual magnificence and the awakening of the world. Let us sing together, I am remembering who I am, remembering for ourselves, but also remembering for all beings. In the beautiful silence, in the beautiful sounds, we remember the voice of God that speaks and sings through the universe. Let us bring that awareness into our open-eyed state as we breathe in deeply and then exhale, opening our eyes in love with what is, as it is, and so it is.
Took a walk down a road one day. It turned from gravel into clay. And what I heard in the heart did say, come what may, you're not alone. I heard a bird crying notes of praise in the morning's lazy haze. What he taught in the humble phrase, saying, come what may, you're not alone. Show me sorrow, show me love, show me grace from up above. Show me fury, show me rest, I'm forever blessed to have found my destiny. Show me sorrow, show me love, show me grace from up above. Show me fury, show me rest, I'm forever blessed. Show me sorrow, show me love, show me grace from up above. Show me fury, show me rest, I'm forever blessed to have found my destiny, to have found my destiny, to have found my destiny.
Thank you, Stuart, and thank you, Craig Thomas, filling in for John this week and next. Yay. And blessings to everybody. Blessings to the whole band. Blessings to the whole world. Blessings to all of you amazingly beautiful people that could be doing anything like talking on the cell phone at this time, but here you are to celebrate life. I so want to speak to the next person that calls in church. I really do. Really do. So, as many of you know, I've been doing a series of talks about my favorite spiritual text, which is the Gospel according to nature. And the first week I did a sermon called The Sermon on the Soil, which was about embracing all of the dark and forsaken parts of ourselves. Last week I did the Sermon on the Sea Glass, which is where we learned that broken is the new beautiful. And today I am doing a sermon on the Monarch, the Sermon on the Monarch, which is about butterflies. For each of these talks, I've had someone from the congregation fill me in, a subject matter expert. And this week, our expert on butterflies is none other than Norm. Norm Ford. Yay. Will you indulge me for a minute and pretend that this is a bar in Boston? And when I say three, we all go Norm. 1, 2, 3. Norm! Had to do it. So I may call upon you to do that again from time to time. So actually, Norm was kind of the inspiration for this whole series of talks, because Norm has been interested in butterflies for a long time. He told me last year or so that he was getting a little nervous that maybe the congregation was afraid of him, because he was coming after people with his iPad with pictures of butterflies, wanting to show people. And this is not very politically correct, but it has kind of a Monty Python feel to it, so I'll say it anyway. And I'll try and say it with a Southern accent, like Norm would do. He said, I think people think I'm the village idiot or something. I'm coming after them with my iPad, and they're running away. So I told him I would be happy to talk to him about butterflies and maybe even write a talk about them. So last Wednesday, I went out to Norm and Karen's property in Fillmore, this beautiful ranch that they have. Got out of the car, was greeted by a pack of bouncing dogs. Asked him, Norm, how many dogs do you have? And he looked kind of sad, and he said, well, we're down to 5. And then Norm took me around the property, showed me all of his fruit trees. He showed me the accommodations that he's made to help the bees, the flowers that he's planted, and the water that he provides for them. And he showed me his milkweed plot where the butterflies feed. And then we went back into the house, and I looked at the infamous iPad and looked at all the pictures and heard all about butterflies. One thing that Norm said that touched me deeply that I'll share with you, and I didn't mention to him at the time because I didn't want to cry in front of Norm. It's not like I don't cry in front of Norm every Sunday, but here I go. He told me that every day he goes out in his garden and he works in the soil. And he gives thanks for the privilege of kneeling in the dirt and worshiping nature, the mother of all of us. Is that humble or is that magnificent? Yes, it's both. It's beautiful. It's Norm, right. And you know, the reason why I love that idea of being simultaneously humble and magnificent is that it encapsulates, I think, who we are here to be. Last week I quoted Rumi about, who am I and what am I supposed to be doing? I think we are here, as I said last week, to be love becoming love, but also we are here to be both humble and magnificent, and to work with those paradoxes and feel the dynamic tension, that narrow way of being both humble and magnificent, and allowing the world to be our teacher. And most certainly one of the greatest teachers in the world is the cycle of the butterfly. So we started with caterpillars. The prophet George Carlin said, he said, the caterpillar does all the work and the butterfly gets all the publicity. So I want to offer a little publicity to the lowly caterpillar at this time. The caterpillar is an amazing creature. pretty much its job, first of all, it's born from butterflies, right? So if we're feeling caterpillar-like and slow or sloth-like or whatever, just know that you were born from a butterfly. But pretty much its job is to eat. It eats milkweed all day long. One of our congregants, one of Norm's disciples, told me that she spends about $40 a week on milkweed because those caterpillars are voracious. They eat and they eat and they eat. And isn't that a model of self-care? There's a story from our featured book this month, Entering the Castle by Carolyn Mace. And she talks about a time when she was in India and she was sitting at the feet of this Indian teacher, guru. And somebody asked the teacher, "What do we have to do to make the world a better place?" And he said, "The first thing that you must do is to make a fully healthy you." Do we do it? Sometimes. Sometimes it feels indulgent to make a fully healthy you, to do what you need to do to take care of yourself. You know, I've shared with you before that I feel sometimes guilty that I spend an inordinate amount of time hiking around in the mountains. But that's where I do my spiritual practice. You know, I say to myself, shouldn't I be reading the Bible? I'm like, I am reading the Bible. It looks like trees and the ocean and the mountains, the Channel Islands from afar. And I offer up prayers for this congregation in that sacred space so that they penetrate my heart and they feel deeper because I'm taking care of myself. And that's what I wish for each of us this morning, is to recognize the areas in our lives where we are not taking care of ourselves and see if we can be more like that little caterpillar and practice exquisite self-care, exquisite self-love, exquisite love becoming love within us, exquisite humility and magnificence in the art of self-care. You ready to do that? Good. Yes. Amen and hallelujah. One of the reasons that it's important to practice exquisite self-care is because we are all on a journey. You know, what the Guru said about being a full, healthy you, there is nobody else here on earth that is like you. There has never been anybody on earth that was like you, and there will never ever be anybody on earth that is like you. You are the only you there is, and you have a special assignment, a special job to do, a mission, a voice, a power, and a presence. So that needs to be nurtured and taken care of. We're all on a journey, and that's the other reason for self-care, is that it supports us on the journey. The caterpillar eats all of that milkweed to support it on its journey of transformation, just like we need to take care of ourselves to support ourselves on our journey of transformation. Norm shared with me that the caterpillars in his yard most frequently start off in the milkweed, and then they go to a palm tree that is a little ecosystem that is, I'm not sure how many feet away, but a pretty long hike if you're a caterpillar. And, you know, trust me, to them, Norm's backyard is probably like, you know, Jurassic freaking Park, because it's got all those dogs running around and birds and with all the fruit trees and all kinds of tall grass, and, you know, that's quite a hike for a little caterpillar. You know, you think about, what if I said, okay, today after church we're going to walk to Colorado, and there's going to be a pack of Godzilla-like beings that are coming after us. It's similar to them, but they really want to get there. There's something within them that pulls them to that tree, that pulls them to that place where they're going to make a chrysalis. And how do they do the journey? How does anybody do a journey? One step at a time. I heard it from the house, one step at a time. You know, it's kind of a combination. It's one of those things like humble and magnificent at the same time. It's keeping the goal in mind, understanding that there is a goal and that there is a destination, but being fully present in where you are. I have a friend whose name is Jeff, and he's a golfer. He's an amateur golfer who wins a lot of tournaments. And I've asked him, Jeff, what's your secret? And I'll share it with all of you. I think he got this from Deepak Chopra, actually. He said that he lets go of the score. He lets go of the end result. He lets go of the shot he just did. He lets go of knowing that there's a horrible sand trap on hole number 17. He lets go of everything except the present moment and just focuses on making the best shot that he can make in the present moment. That's such an allegory for that little caterpillar crossing the lawn, or for us on our journey, on our destination. You know, if we're in a warehouse that's filled with clutter and we want to get to the door, we're standing in the center and we want to get to the door, we know that the door is there and we head in the direction of the door, but where do we shine the light? If we have a flashlight, if it's dark, we shine it right in front of us. If we don't, we'll trip. So the same thing is true for our goals and aspirations. It's very much like in the 12-step group where they say, do the next right thing. We are fully focused, fully present on the next right thing, keeping the destination in mind, but taking care of ourselves and taking care of what is, loving what is, as it is, and so it is in the present moment. That's how we get to where we're going. That's how the caterpillar gets to where he or she is going. That's where we get to where we are going, by staying focused in the present moment. All transformation happens in the now. And I wonder if the caterpillar knows what's going to happen to it once it gets to that palm tree. Does it know that it's going to form a chrysalis and totally dissolve? Right? Caterpillar totally dissolves, becomes something entirely different. And because of who we are, see, the baby's very sad about that. It starts young. Because of who we are, we kind of catastrophize that. We awfulize it and say, oh my God, it's totally dissolving. It's not who it was. It's a terrible thing. But it's a beautiful thing. So how is this like us? Have you noticed that sometimes when you make a transformation into something new, there are certain old ways that need to totally dissolve? Old habits, old structures, old ways of thinking, old ways of being, old relationships, old jobs. Has anybody ever had an experience where everything dissolved, but you were left, first of all, feeling like crap because everything dissolved, but then as you moved through it, as you emerged through that, everything is beautiful? You know, I certainly experienced that when I first came to the church, that there was a lot of upheaval, a lot of shifting, and I was wondering if I was really in the right place, but it just waited it out, and things became beautiful before too long. You know, I remember, I always think about this too, when we renovated Martha's Hall downstairs, and everything was all torn up, right? When you renovate something, you tear it all out. When you clean out a closet, you pull everything out, and everything looks like a big mess. And we don't despair that everything looks like a big mess. We just acknowledge that that's part of the process. So the same thing is true for our lives. If you're going through something right now that feels like a big mess, that feels like it's dissolving, that feels like it's falling apart, can you possibly trust that this is just part of the process and something good is coming? Because life always goes in cycles. We can't stop the cycles of life. Life is just a beautiful cycle, one right after the other. I also offer this idea that everything is falling apart in terms of our view of the world. You know, the world just seems exceptionally kooky right now, you know? I am not allowed to talk about politics from this pulpit, and I am not an expert, so I won't, but it just seems particularly kooky this year. What if everything is dissolving? What if everything is falling apart so that something ridiculous can turn into something new and beautiful and powerful, right? I think that's what all the upheaval is about. That's what all the upheaval throughout the ages has always been about. There have been other times where it feels like the world is collapsing, but it always dissolves and then something new is born from it. And that's the teaching of the chrysalis, that the thing that we were so rigidly holding on to needs to dissolve in order for something new to emerge. So I invite you to take this personally, look at where you're struggling, and recognize that we don't have to fight the dissolution. We can just allow it to be and trust in the process that something new is waiting for us. And that something new is magnificent. It is, after all, Palm Sunday. And some of you may know the story of Palm Sunday, which was when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey, and he was greeted as a king. You know, and I read an article recently about Jesus. He was coming in for the Passover feast, by the way. I wanted to mention that. But I read an article recently about the self-care of Jesus. You know, did he learn it from a caterpillar? Perhaps, I don't know. But if we look at his life, it shows that he took a lot of time in prayer and meditation, and that he had disciples, helpers around him, and that he ate and he drank wine. He even turned water into wine when they ran out. So there's the self-care of Jesus. There's that journey into Jerusalem, that one step after the other, knowing what's at the other end of that journey, but taking it one step at a time, knowing that his life would dissolve completely but it was for the purpose of resurrection, you know? And we teach that Jesus is the great example, so you can celebrate this in Jesus, or you can celebrate it in a caterpillar, but most of all, celebrate this process in yourself, this process of self-care and journey and dissolution of that which no longer serves us. It's a trinity. It's a holy trinity. And it doesn't happen 1, 2, 3. It's all happening simultaneously all the time. Our task is to be aware and awake and to see it and to know it and to trust it. If there's anything I've learned from this series of talks on nature, it's that we are involved in something magnificent here. We don't always know it, but the more that we can awaken to it and the more that we can trust it, the better our lives become. Our lives are love becoming love, and that's what we're here to do, to be humble and magnificent in all things. One more thing about that emergence. You know, next Sunday is Easter, so that's when we're really going to talk about bursting out. But I do want to talk a little bit about the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis. I was Googling stories about butterflies, and the story that popped up the most was this. There's a story about a young man who was watching a butterfly emerge from a chrysalis, and at the end, it seemed like the butterfly couldn't get out. It seemed like it was stuck. So the young man decided to get a pair of scissors and help it along. So he got the scissors and cut the chrysalis. And then the butterfly just sat there. It couldn't fly. It couldn't get its bloated nothingness out of the way. The butterfly needs that extra energy, that extra work of getting out of the chrysalis to strengthen its wings. And so I use this also as a metaphor that maybe if something is taking too long, if some transformation that we're waiting for is taking way too long, maybe it's just that little extra piece that we need to strengthen our wings. And I also offer this to all of us who are good people who love to help others. Sometimes helping others is not helping others. Sometimes people need to learn to do things on their own and to strengthen their own wings so that they can fly. We all deserve to fly. We all deserve to be the beautiful, emergent creatures that we are. We are all that beautiful, powerful place of God showing up here on the planet Earth, both magnificent and humble. And here we stand on this patch of dirt that we call Earth, this pale blue dot, giving thanks for the glory of creation, giving thanks for all that is, giving thanks for fully being ourselves. Let us give thanks for our humility and our magnificence, and let us do that right now. Thank you. And so I turn within and trust and know that there is a power and a presence that is so much greater than my words. But I use my words as pointers to this presence, to this power, to this love. I breathe in and breathe out and allow this power and this presence to infuse me, to inform me, to fill me. And in this place, I recognize and I reorganize, and I absolutely know that there is one perfect life, that life is God's life, that life is the planet Earth and all of its beings, that life is our shared life right here and right now. There is only one life, and it is life. There is only one life, and it is love. There is nothing outside the walls of this place called loving existence. And right here and now, we recognize and we remember that we are that existence itself. And so from this place of remembrance, from this place of trust and knowing, we take these words that were spoken today and use them directly in our lives. We recognize where we are perhaps neglecting ourselves, falling back on self-care. And together we collectively promise to know that we are important beings with an important journey and an important message to the world. And so we promise to take care of ourselves, to take care of the body temple and our heart and our feelings, and to trust and know that we are blessed in this endeavor. We also together look at the concept of journey. We look at where we are in the journey. Are we at the beginning or are we at the end? We recognize that although we have an intention and a destination in place, that the journey is formed one step at a time, one step of being in the holiness of now, one step after the other. So we do this willingly. We commit to doing this with love. We commit to doing this mindfully. And then we also look at the principle of dissolution, that there are some certain structures, habits, ideas that need to fall away in order for the new to occur. And so we willingly let go of resistance, and we allow whatever is old, whatever is not serving us, we allow that to simply dissolve. And in the spaciousness that that creates, something new is formed, something new emerges. And like that reading that Hugh did, that if we all do this together, something new is born in the consciousness of society, of humanity, of living beings here on the planet Earth. We are participating in a divine revolution, and it is beautiful, absolutely beautiful to know this and to trust this. And to be at peace with the knowing that all is well. So I am very grateful for these words that have been spoken, very grateful for this community that is formed here this morning, these cells of imagination, these cells of magnificence and humility combined, these cells of awakening that are blessing the entire planet. I give thanks for all of the transformation that I know has already occurred because of our spiritual work that we have done here today. I bless this teaching, and I bless this center and each person here today. I bless our beautiful babies. And I bless life itself, knowing that life is a blessing. I bless all paths to God, churches, temples, mosques, ashrams, synagogues. I bless fundamentalists and atheists, for all beings are blessings. And with a heart so filled with blessedness and gratitude and love, I say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, God, and I release these words into the mystery. And together we say, and so it is.
I have seen a summer day that slowly opens like a rose along a quiet road that wanders by, and I have smiled and wondered where it goes. I have stumbled through the night, alone as any man can be, then found a silent canyon full of stars, and in my heart I heard them telling me I am home. The gentle winds, the rains that fall, the tallest trees, I'm part of it all. I've seen the silver mountain tops and golden prairies on my way. Now everywhere I go across the land, I stand so proudly in the sun and say, I am home. The gentle winds, the rains that fall, the tallest trees, I'm part of it all. I've dreamed of it, and all my life I find it more and more each day. And now everywhere I go across the land, I stand so proudly in the sun and say, I am home. I am home.
Please repeat after me. I am held in Spirit's holiness, divinely guided by wisdom, courage, and love. I am always connected. I see God in everything. I create joy on earth as I share my blessings. Thank you for my life. And so it is.